So today I want to talk to you about how to become fluent with problems where you have to find one more, one less, two more, or two less. So for example, if you have to find one more than 3, if you're seeing something like 3 plus 1, or if you have a mystery number here and when you add one more, you get 9. Okay, another example that we're going to look at is when you have to find one less. So 10 minus 1, figuring out what that is. Or figuring out when you have a number here and you're taking away 1, that means that you end up with 6. What number would go here? We're also going to look at how to find problems with 2 more. So 5 plus 2 equals something, or something plus 2 equals 4. And problems where you would have 2 less. 8 minus 2 is how many? Or 2 less than what number equals 3? When I'm adding or subtracting just 1 or 2, I like to think of a number line because then I can just move forward or backward depending on the problem. And I know that I'm going to be pretty close to where I started because I'm only increasing or decreasing by 1 or 2. So let's say I'm trying to figure out 3 plus 1. In my head, I'm thinking about the number 3, and then I'm thinking, what's the next number? What's 1 more than 3? And I land on 4. So I know that 3 plus 1 equals 4. Similarly, if I were trying to figure out 1 less than 3, or 3 minus 1, I would start at 3, and then I go back 1, and I land on 2. So 3 minus 1 equals 2. Now we can also think about problems with a mystery addend, such as something plus 1 equals 5. Now this means that 1 more than a mystery number equals 5. So that means that I'm ending at 5 and I had to add 1 to get to 5. So if I had to add 1 to get to 5, then that means that I started at 4. So my mystery number is 4. 4 plus 1 makes 5. We can also use the number line to solve a problem like a mystery number minus 1 equals 3. So I know I'm going to end up at 3, and I got there by taking away 1 or moving back 1 on the number line. So if I moved back 1 on the number line and I landed at 3, that means that I started at 4. So I can put 4 for my mystery number. 4 minus 1 equals 3. So it's the same process with 2 more or 2 less. So if I want to figure out what 4 plus 2 equals, I just start at 4, and then I'm going to jump 2 instead of 1, 2 more. So I'm skipping 5 and I'm jumping right to 6. So 2 more than 4 is 6. Now if I want to solve 5 minus 2, or 2 less than 5, that means I'm going to start at 5, and I can even write just on my number line, I can start at 5, and then I'm going to jump back 2 instead of 1. So I'm skipping 4 and I'm jumping right back 2, and I landed on 3. So 5 minus 2 is 3. Now I could also solve a problem like this. A mystery number minus 2 equals 4. So that means I ended at 4, and I had to start at a number that when I move back 2 from that number, I land on 4. So that means I had to start at 6, because if I start at 6 and I go back 2, that's where I land on 4. So my mystery number is 6. 6 minus 2 equals 4. And we can do a mystery number plus 2 equals 3. So let's try this one. That means that I ended up at 3, and I started somewhere before 3, because when I added 2 more, I landed on 3. So that means I had to have started at 1, because if I start at 1 and I jump 2 spots on my number line, I land on 3. So my mystery number is 1, because 1 plus 2 is 3. Now this strategy will work for larger values as well. The great thing about number lines is they have no beginning or end. They're infinite. So I do want to show you a pattern for when you're adding or subtracting 1 or 2. And it has to do with evens and odds. So I'm gonna highlight my evens in yellow and my odds in blue. So notice that if I'm starting at an even number, like 62, and I'm adding 1, I end up at an odd number. So even plus 1 equals an odd number, and that's always going to be true. If I start at 64 and I add 1, I land on an odd number. Even plus 1 equals odd. This is true for subtracting as well. So if I'm subtracting and I'm starting at 65, which is odd, and then I move back 1, or I subtract 1, I'm landing on an even number. So odd minus 1 equals even. Even minus 1 equals odd. Odd number minus 1 equals even, and even number minus 1 equals odd. So when I'm increasing or decreasing by just 1, my number is always changing from an even number to an odd number, from an even number to an odd number. Now when I'm increasing or decreasing by 2, I'll be going from odd to odd, or from even to even. So an even number plus 2 gives you an even number, and an odd number plus 2 gives you an odd number, and the same thing is true if you're subtracting. If you take away 2, if you jump 2 places on your number line, you're going to either stay even or you're going to stay odd. Okay, so now I'll show you how you can practice your 1 more, 1 less, 2 more, 2 less, until you know it without even thinking. So I just made myself, on this folded up piece of paper, I made myself cards. 1 more, 1 less, and inside I have 2 less and 2 more. And then you're just gonna pick one that you need to practice. So let's say I'm practicing my 2 more facts. I'm going to keep that one down, and then I've got my deck of cards. Now I just picked the numbers 1 through 10 because I just want to practice with 1 through 10, and I want to practice doing 2 more than all these numbers. So you'll mix them up, and that's it. You just practice. Flip a card over. 7, and I want to know 2 more than 7. It's 9. Do it again. 2 more than 4 is 6. 2 more than 6 is 8. Now remember to picture that number line in your head if you're getting stuck, and also remember the pattern. When you're going 2 more or 2 less, if your number's even, you stay even. If it's odd, you stay odd. If you're going 1 more or 1 less, you're going to change from odd to even. So if you practice each of these with every card 1 through 10, and you practice every single day, that's 40 facts that you're going to know from memory within no time. Just practice every day, say it out loud, 1 less than 8 or 8 minus 1, however you want to say it. 8 minus 1 is 7, and then you do the next one. 1 less than 9 is 8, and you do the next one. 1 less than 1 is 0. And you keep going. Practice, practice, practice. I promise you're going to know them from memory in no time.